So they can
Okay,
have the
and that
opportunity
is
when they
the
speak.
25th? Wednesday, the 25th, Steve, is that correct? At 1:30?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
all right.
yeah.
I say maybe we need to figure out what it is about the fairgrounds that they're not satisfied with, that the complex would make any difference, so.
Well, I mean, satisfaction at the fairgrounds doesn't impact the traffic problems we're gonna have at the
Yeah.
complex. I mean, that's there either way, so. I mean, if we can
I just don't wanna
reiterate the
mislead them
council's
that there's an
direction.
opportunity.
Sure.
And the safety, just the flat safety feature of it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The absolute safety involvement of this whole thing is what should drive where they need to go.
Yeah.
Plus the fairgrounds has got, buildings if it rains.
Well, and supposedly by the time this group shows up,
They'll
according to,
have tents.
they're gonna have, several RV hookup water and electricity, 50 amp capabilities too. They're adding in between now and September.
Okay, well, we'll meet.
So how do you do a?
Well,
how do you do
consensual, here's what I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna assume this, I'm not gonna assume anything, but say as a group here, unless I hear differently, I'm hearing that we as a group, as a council, do not want them to use the complex. If you otherwise speak differently. Okay,
I don't like the safety factor, but I do think we still need to be welcoming them into our community
Yeah, this
somehow.
this has
I
to do with
mean,
our
just
people,
to-
with historic,
somehow.
with the health center, and because of the DeVita relationship out there, and this is, this PR wise could be difficult if we don't do this right.
okay, you did it consensual, we'll put it on the agenda for next time. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
I just wondered, I'm probably way off base, isn't this more of a time problem than a location problem? The start of school, when they get to the hospital and so on, isn't time about as big a factor as where they're at?
Well, anytime you deal with Highway 150 in the
Right.
early morning hours,
I mean, as far as the high school traffic and so on, what if they
Even
delayed,
after- even
what if
after-
they delayed the start of school?
even after high school traffic, Highway 150 still is busy. It still remains
The
busy.
school doesn't really matter then?
It does matter, it's busier between those hours
Yeah.
of 7 AM until
I
about
just thought it
8:15 to
sounded,
8:20 AM.
if they could avoid that, early start
Okay.
time, cause they're the ones that wanna get someplace, which I understand. And, I just,
It's very busy.
I'm not saying you should ask the school, it was just surfacing in my mind that it seemed almost as much a time problem as a location problem. Cause it's gonna be a problem anywhere with that many bikes.
It's gonna be a problem anywhere with those bikes,
Yeah.
and especially along a major highway like 150. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Oh, Randy, I shared this person the other day about the tractor thing, because it was vintage tractors.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that's gonna be okay, because they'll all be required to have rubber on them, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, do you
Yeah,
know what
they
I'm
can.
talking about, the old?
Yes, they cannot have the steel hubs on,
Thank you,
no,
Yeah.
not allowed. No.
thank you.
And that's not only monitored by us, but it's also monitored by the county sheriff as well as Ohio Patrol as well, who's going to be providing some traffic control for them as well. That's all monitored by them as well. Yeah, there'll be no steel hubs.
Okay. Sure there wasn't, but I wanted to make sure. Thank you. Doug?
Well, the first thing, I wanna thank you all for taking the time for the ordinances tonight. They really needed to be done. And other than visiting the next two meetings for your second, third reading, you shouldn't see them come again until 2015 will be the next code cycle, so you got a few years to.
Well, the hearings were brief and to the point,
Yeah. The second thing is, as you all know, we're under a burn ban. It was put on by the fire marshal's office under our request from everybody in, fire chiefs in, Buchanan County. And what that means here in Independence is, because we don't let trash be burned anyway, is there's absolutely no fires allowed within the city limits of any sort. Other than, you can have a gas barbecue grill or charcoal barbecue grill, but no open fires at all. And I did give you guys, so they've got some direction there. And then, the Patriot Riders were through, and I talked to Steve about this morning. They're going to bury a young soldier with full military rights tomorrow, which is, I can see is gonna create a problem too, because they're going right up, they're gonna come up Chatham to the St. John's Church, so we're gonna have some problems there anyway, I'm guessing, but we are gonna set, we're they're gonna set ladder one up by the creamery there, the flag out over Second Avenue for the respect to this soldier.
What time is that?
10:30 is when, I don't know if that's when the funeral is, or when the funeral's over. Okay, so it'd probably be about 11 o'clock or so, 11, quarter after 11, they'll be coming up. I think they're gonna go up, cause they're going from St. John's Church, and from what I understand, they're gonna go up 4th to 8th, across the Second, and then up to the cemetery. So if, you'll see the truck sitting out there, and that's what it's there for. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doug. Okay, let's go to council members. Start with Bob Hill.
Okay, I just have a couple of things in response to citizens. One was a concern over swimming down by the boat dock in Riverwalk Park. And Bob Beatty said he was going to check the sign. It's kind of way off to the side and to get it closer to the dock, but that is an enforceable code on that sign. So if people see people swimming there, it is dangerous with the boats and things getting in. So contact police if they see people swimming there. Second thing is, I had a individual ask me if it was okay for people to be using paintballs in town, paintball guns. And I talked with Chief Miller, and he felt that is covered under our ordinance, and that, again, is something that if someone is firing or shooting off a paint gun within the city limits, that probably does fall under our gun policy. So again, called Chief. And finally, I did receive a call Saturday, I think it was. Yeah, it must have been Saturday. Someone was not happy with the concert over at Checkered Flag. Primarily what they weren't happy about was no one in the neighborhood had been told what to expect, when it would start, when it would end. One lady said that her windows were rattling in her house. Another one was not too happy about the fireworks being set off, being we had a burn ban. Again, I wasn't there, but they indicated some kind of a pyrotechnic fireworks was set off before the final act went on. And they were basically concerned that we were real hesitant to have anything in Riverwalk Park, but we had that without really asking the neighborhood if they wanted it. And so I said, well, I apologize, I voted for it, and I didn't do my homework as far as what was going to be passed out to the neighborhood, and so just wanted to pass that on. So that's all.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Jean?
Nothing.
Arletta?
Well, I was at the Hairball concert, and I had a great time, and I didn't see any fireworks. They do a pyrotechnics with the flares going off behind them, but it's not very tall. It was 4 feet high, and it was controlled, so it wouldn't have had any burn issues. I did talk to the owners, and they've had no complaints from their neighbors. They had a good turnout. It wasn't quite as many as what they thought, but it was pretty darn close. They thought around 550 people is what showed up. So it was a good time. It was a good night for it. The temperature was great. I think some of those people in that crowd was suffocated had it been the 90-degree weather that we have been having. But anyway, it was a good time. And then also I received calls from Dorothy Smith concerning the property that is burnt next to her. She said that she's lived there for 38 years and never had rodents, and now she has mice. The smell is atrocious. She has allergies, and for her this is a health issue. So she's wanting to know when this is going to be taken care of, and would like to know for sure what all we have been doing to locate the homeowners. It has been 9 months since the house had burnt. And she has contacted a lawyer, and if action doesn't get taken pretty soon, we'll be hearing from that attorney. Also, I continue to get calls on other properties, and people are wanting to know why nothing is being done. And I have a list of properties that I can give you, Steve, when we're done, that I've gotten contacted on. Some of the things that are also mentioned are the old Fairway building. The fence on the northeast corner of it is falling down. The weeds are as tall as I am, and that's just what you can see from coming from the west. I'm not sure what the east side of the building looks like. We're trying to sell this, and I'd like to see us try to make it presentable, clean that up, take the fence down altogether if we have to. The parking lot behind the stores on the south side of Main Street, going into Security Bank, the weeds were also very high, and that's visible from 150. So, and I did see today that those have been cut down. So, thank you for that. We have replaced the sidewalks downtown, and it looks great, and I've had a lot of compliments on that. But then their next statement is, why can't we cut the weeds and the curbs and sidewalks east and west of Main Street? You know, you come up, that doesn't look good. I mean, part of taking care of your grass is taking care of the curb as well. So if we could get something done about that also. And I could go on and on, but all I get as an answer for all this is we're too busy. The city has not had to do their regular mowing for over a month, so I don't know why we're so busy and why we can't clean up some of these bad sites. I would like to have a list of the letters that have gone out to all the property owners that we've had phone calls on, and see how they've been contacted, along with the dates that the letters went out, and any personal contacts that were made with the property owners, and then a list of the follow-up actions that have been made.
I'll tell you right now, part of the problem is you gotta understand how much building's going on in this town, and my main job is to keep after these builders and make sure that stuff's getting done. So I don't have a lot of time to go after these nuisances. I try to do them as I get time to do them, but I don't have a lot of time. Plus, I'm studying for all this testing you want me to take, you know, so I've got, you know, it just, and I come to work at 5:30 in the morning, I still don't have enough time in the day to get this stuff done. But my main job is the building part of it, and I've gotta keep after, you know, keeping these inspections up on all this property that's getting done.
I agree with that, Doug, but people are getting tired of hearing, I don't have time, I'm too
Well-
busy. I mean,